Good morning, everyone. This is Tommy Schmidt from www.getfitwithschmidt.com, your independent Team Beachbody coach. Today is day 28 of Insanity Asylum. Workout was relief. Fantastic workout following back to core yesterday. Instead of going through the different relief-based exercises, I wanted to give you guys some equipment and space requirements for those considering Insanity Asylum. First, are there any equipment requirements? Honestly, this is insanity. There are no equipment requirements. However, is there equipment that can help maximize the potential of the program? Absolutely. Some of that equipment is actually sent with the program itself. The first one being the agility ladder and the second being the speed rope. Now I have these two just hung up over here on a piece of furniture, which is nice and out of the way. The reason why I choose to hang them up kind of in between exercises, because that way when it's time for me to do that exercise, it's just an easy spot for me to go and grab it and I can set it down on the floor. So those are the two items that do come with Insanity Asylum. Some of the other equipment that is helpful, that will help maximize the potential of the program, one are bands. Now, you can get these bands through Beachbody. Here's one of the red ring style bands. What's nice about these is that you can put them around your ankles or you can put them around your wrists. Putting them around your wrists is important when you're trying to get down and do push-ups. I have some of the other bands that Beachbody offers, which are just the straight non-ring style bands that work out well if you get to hold them in your hands, but when you're doing an exercise like push-ups with bands, it gets to be pretty cumbersome because what you have to do is kind of wrap them around your wrist and they actually just don't work out really well. So for most of the Insanity Asylum exercises that use the resistance bands, actually the ring bands are probably the best way to go. And they do have 3 different resistances that they offer, both of a light, a medium, and a heavy. I actually pretty much use the heavy resistance all the time. So, the bands. For the strength workout, you have the option of using no weight, you can use resistance bands, or you can use some weights. I had a set of power blocks, which we can see down there on the floor. I bought those as part of doing P90X, and so with them being here, I've been able to use my power blocks throughout Insanity Asylum. Now the thing with the power blocks though is that the grip to do like a two-handed dumbbell move is a little odd. So if you had a standard dumbbell, that would work out pretty well. But I do use the power blocks. It gives you the freedom to go through and switch the weight around as you need to, so that once again you can maximize the potential, which is in the end really what I'm trying to do, is to maximize my time and what I'm going to get from that time. The other piece of equipment that you can have for Insanity Asylum is the chin-up bar, which you can see back here on my doorway. Once again, I had this chin-up bar from doing P90X, so I didn't have to buy anything new for this program. I actually have that bar spanning a 36-inch wide door frame, even though I think the specs call 32 to 34 to be the max. But it does fit and it has worked out great, especially with the 2 workouts that use the pull-up bar, which are strength and game day. Shaun T does offer some variations that you can use if you don't have a pull-up bar. But if you're able to get it, there are some really fun workouts that you can do with that pull-up bar. So with all this equipment, there obviously needs to be some kind of a space requirement, and especially with equipment such as the speed rope and the agility ladder. I've seen some people that have posted some questions. Well, how high? What's the maximum height of your ceiling that you can have for doing this, the speed rope? And to be honest with you, it actually depends on how tall you are. I'm 5'6", so what I've done with my agility ladder, or with my speed rope, is I've actually shortened in the handles, just a little bit. I think if we look down there at the bottom, you can see there's some yellow strings hanging out of the black handles. That's actually me shortening the speed rope. So here in my basement, my ceiling height from floor to the bottom of the joist is 7 foot 3 inches, and I'm able to jump rope down here pretty much without a problem. Occasionally in my videos you've heard some tinking. A lot of that tinking is some water pipes which are overhead. So 7 foot 3 to me, with the jump rope length that I've selected, is just about right, and maybe the lowest ceiling that you can do. You know, as far as to be standing upright, I think it would be too much of a challenge to have to crouch down all the time while you're doing your jump roping. So something to consider. Once again, they do offer some variation of moves without the jump rope if you don't have the ceiling height to allow you to do this program. The other thing has to do with space. For the most part, my space, which you can see around down here, you know, I just got this rug on the ground, kind of spans, you know, just a standard rug. I did some measurements today. It's actually, it stands about, or it's about 6 foot, 6 foot by 8 foot. You know, that gives you space to do pretty much all the moves and to do some push-ups and some other things. So the 6 foot 8 has worked out pretty well. But then they throw in this agility ladder. Now, some of the moves you're in front of the agility ladder, some of them you're behind them, some of them you're on either end. So the space is actually, in my opinion, needs to be longer than 8 foot to actually be able to use the agility ladder and do those exercises efficiently. I actually found that a distance up to 12 feet available is what works, at least for me, best. Exercises that demand that longer length are things like the bear crawl, in which your whole body is on either end of the agility ladder. Sure, you could have a shorter space, but then you're not able to fully extend and get what you need to get out of the workout. So in general, if you have a 6 by 8 space, it's going to work great. But for the a couple of those moves, being able to have an area, let's call it 4 foot wide, that extends all the way to 12 foot, is going to be best for doing moves, exercises like the bear crawl. So that's pretty much in general the equipment requirements, so to speak, and the space requirements that you're going to find when you're in here doing Insanity Asylum. Other than that, it just takes you. It takes you to get committed. If you're ready to get committed, come reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. You can find me at getfitwithschmidt@gmail.com, or look for me on the Team Beachbody message boards. Screen name Tommy. That's THOMMY. Hey, have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow on day 29.